Why do only certain women carry these 7 unseen marks? Have you ever noticed how some women walk straight through storms yet never drown? They're misunderstood, targeted without reason, and often left alone. Yet still, they rise with a grace that confuses the world. In this message, we lift the veil on the divine mystery that separates these women from the rest. It's not about their status or how they look. It's about heaven's fingerprints resting quietly on their lives. These marks aren't for the eye to see, but the Spirit knows them well. They aren't symbols of fame, but signs of divine choice. Get ready to uncover why some women don't just endure life, they're shaped by it for something far beyond the ordinary. You're not just watching another video, you're entering into a revelation. Let's begin. Number 1, she bears a scar that became her sword. Pause for a moment, beloved, and think about how heaven selects its warriors, not from halls of comfort, but from places of pain. The chosen woman isn't just someone wrapped in grace. She's someone who's bled, fought, prayed, and risen again. She's the rose that broke through the pavement. Not because the ground was kind, but because her spirit was unstoppable. Her scars aren't shameful. They're sacred. They testify that she didn't just survive, she transformed, like Joseph, who once said to his brothers, "You meant evil against me, but God turned it for good." Genesis 50-20. The chosen woman has stared into darkness and walked out carrying light. What was meant to destroy her became the very thing that defined her. Her pain became purpose. Her wound became a weapon. Her suffering turned into strength. Think of Hannah, mocked, humiliated, and dismissed because she couldn't bear a child. But she didn't run. She cried out to God until heaven responded. And from that place of sorrow came Samuel, the prophet who would anoint kings. If you've ever cried alone and still lifted your hands in faith, if you've ever faced betrayal and came out with wisdom instead of bitterness, you carry this first hidden mark. You've been through the fire and you came out forged, not burned. That pain you've stopped speaking about, that's your oil now. The rejection that once made you doubt your value, that's become your sword. Every single time the enemy thought it was breaking you, heaven was actually sharpening you. And now you carry an edge that cuts through the darkness. Ask yourself today, has your deepest wound turned into your greatest weapon? Because a chosen woman might walk softly, but she's never weak. Her quiet isn't emptiness. It's sacred. Her silence holds power because her past holds purpose. If you've been hurt and still lift your hands in worship, if your scar still aches but your praise still rises, then yes, you carry this mark. Number 2, she carries a holy restlessness. Lean in, daughter of Zion. Because not every chosen woman looks broken. Some appear blessed, radiant, accomplished, surrounded by beauty, and yet something inside them still stirs. That's not confusion. That's divine discontent. It's heaven tugging on your soul, like a mother gently waking her child. You've outgrown the space you were placed in. Your spirit is stretching because your destiny is expanding. Hebrews 11:13 reminds us, they admitted they were strangers and foreigners on the earth. That means chosen women rarely feel fully at home, even when everything seems perfect, because comfort was never their calling. They weren't designed to blend in. They were designed to break limits. They're like eagles raised among chickens, wings built for mountains, yet confined by fences. You feel that holy ache, that stirring inside, not because something's missing, but because something greater is maturing within you. Look at Esther, a queen, clothed in splendor, surrounded by luxury, yet something inside her felt unsettled. Why? Because her people were under threat. Her palace wasn't her purpose. It was her position for a divine mission. And Mordecai's words still echo through time. If you remain silent at this moment, deliverance will rise from another place. That uneasy feeling you've been carrying, that's not restlessness. It's revelation. You've wondered, why can't I just be satisfied like everyone else? Because you're not everyone else, you're chosen. That inner pull isn't anxiety. It's divine alignment. God is stirring the nest, not to harm you, but to launch you. If your favorite job suddenly feels like a cage, if your old routines now scratch at your spirit, that's not boredom. That's birth pains. Something inside you is shifting, ready to emerge. Chosen women don't ignore that nudge. They listen. They trace that spiritual itch back to the breath of God. So if you've been feeling out of place, out of rhythm, out of sync, stop and give thanks. You're not being lost, you're being led. The nest isn't breaking, it's opening. You're not being abandoned, you're being assigned. The chosen woman walks through life with a heart that absorbs everything around her. She tears up at the pain in headlines. She groans in worship when others stay still. She carries burdens for people she's never even met. And sometimes she wonders, why do I feel so much? It's because heaven trusts her. She's an intercessor in disguise. Heaven's messenger and earth's midwife. Her emotions aren't weakness. They're a form of holy language. Her tears are not signs of instability. They are sacred currency spent in the presence of God. Remember John 11:35, Jesus wept. The shortest verse in Scripture, yet one of the most powerful. Why would the Son of God cry, knowing he was about to raise Lazarus? Because compassion isn't about the result. It's about the relationship. It's about feeling what heaven feels. When you're chosen, God allows you to carry the emotions of others so you can pray prayers they can't yet form. You mourn with those who mourn. You intercede quietly for breakthroughs that no one will ever credit you for. This is the hidden mark of divine sensitivity. It's the woman who weeps during worship while others just listen. It's the one who senses a heaviness in the room, even when everyone else is smiling. That's not emotional excess. That's spiritual discernment. You're not fragile. You're trusted. You're the woman who wakes up at 3 a.m. to pray for her children. The one who sighs in the spirit when words fail. You've been handed heaven's heartbeat. Yes, it can feel draining. Yes, it can feel lonely. But it's also powerful, because while others judge with their eyes, you discern with your spirit. Where others rush ahead, you stay and pray. God whispers secrets into your tears. The world might say, she's too sensitive. But heaven says, she's highly favored. Don't curse your tears, daughter. They're prophetic. They water the seeds of miracles you can't see yet. So when you find yourself crying alone, remember,
Number 4,
you're not broken,
she attracts
you're
battles
chosen.
she didn't
You carry
start.
the burden because you
When
were
a woman
built-
is chosen by God, she doesn't walk into a playground. She steps into a battlefield. Long before her crown touches her head, her calling begins to stir the unseen world. She faces attacks, not because she's doing something wrong, but because she's carrying something right. Her light disturbs darkness, and anything that shines draws both eyes and opposition. Matthew 5:11 reminds us, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely speak all kinds of evil against you because of me." Those insults aren't random. That gossip isn't coincidence. That betrayal didn't come without reason. The enemy sees what heaven placed inside you, your purity, your purpose, your yes to God, and it sets off alarms in hell. A chosen woman doesn't need to shout to be a threat. Her very presence makes darkness nervous. She is light in its purest form, and light always exposes what hides. The brighter she burns, the more attention she draws, even from those who don't understand her. Think of Mary, the mother of Jesus. Her yes to God didn't just welcome Emmanuel, it unleashed warfare. Her obedience provoked Herod's fury. Her surrender forced her into hiding, fleeing for her child's life. That's what happens when you carry divine purpose. Your obedience shakes both heaven and hell. But remember, daughter, attacks don't mean you're defeated. They mean you're anointed. She was mocked before she was marveled. But Mary didn't retreat, because chosen women understand the battle is never about where they stand. It's about what they carry. Woman of God, listen carefully. If you've been facing opposition that seems to come out of nowhere, you are not cursed. You are confirmed. The warfare swirling around your life is proof that something powerful is being birthed through you. The enemy doesn't waste his energy on the empty. He targets what's fruitful. You've been attacked not because you're fragile, but because you're formidable. You're a weapon forged in heaven's fire. So stop questioning why they whisper about you. Stop apologizing for the oil on your life. Stop shrinking yourself to stay safe when you were meant to shine. The arrows flying toward you are not endings. They are evidence. You're moving forward. You're dangerous to darkness. Heaven's mark on you makes hell nervous. Even Jesus drew warfare long before he ever preached. Remember that hell only targets what it fears. So instead of crying out, "Why me?" lift your chin and declare, "It must be because I'm carrying something holy." The crown comes with a cost. The oil flows through pressure. And a chosen woman doesn't run from the storm. She worships right through it. Number 5, she is misunderstood and set apart. Known of the most painful marks of a chosen woman isn't external warfare. It's the ache of internal isolation. It's when you sit, surrounded by people, yet feel unseen. When your silence is mistaken for pride. When your discernment is misread as judgment. When your boundaries are labeled as rejection. Chosen women are often misunderstood, not because they're unclear, but because they're uncommon. They move differently because their mission is different. Luke 5:16 tells us, Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Even the Savior of the world sought solitude, not from lack of love, but for divine alignment. So don't despise the seasons where God hides you. Isolation for the chosen woman is never punishment. It's preparation. She blossoms in deserts. She thrives in silence. She becomes the rose that blooms where others said nothing could grow. Think of Hagar, cast out into the wilderness with her child. Yet it was there she met El Roi, the God who sees. Think of Moses, driven into exile before leading a nation. Alone but not forgotten. Think of David, anointed in secret, tending sheep while ignored by his family. Why does God isolate his chosen? Because he hides what he's healing before he reveals it. So when you feel excluded, remember, you're not being left out. You're being set apart. That job that didn't open, that invitation that never came, that group you no longer fit into, don't grieve it. Thank God for it. Some tables don't feed, they poison. And when heaven pulls you away, it's not rejection. It's protection. When God isolates you, he's not punishing you. He's insulating you for what's ahead. He sets you apart in sacred seclusion, not to punish, but to transform you without distraction. He draws you away so he can draw something deeper out of you. And when the refining work is complete, when your strength has been restored and your spirit made mature, you won't emerge as the same woman who walked into the wilderness. You'll rise as a fire, tested spirit, filled, glory, carrying vessel of divine power. Woman of God, you may be walking through a silent season, but your silence is sacred. You may feel alone, but you are seen. God is doing a quiet work beneath the surface, and when the unveiling comes, it won't be for vanity, but for victory. Remember this, isolation isn't rejection, it's redirection. Number 6, she grows in the dark. Oh, this is a word for the woman who feels invisible, the one whose hard work goes unseen, whose prayers seem unheard, whose heart whispers, "Does any of this even matter?" Hear me, you have not been buried, you have been planted. There's a holy difference. Isaiah 45:3 declares, "I will give you treasures of darkness, riches stored in secret places." God doesn't just work in the light. He works in shadows. He doesn't just move on platforms. He moves in silence. Chosen women grow in obscurity. They develop when no one is applauding, when no one is noticing, when no one even knows their name. Like seeds buried deep in the soil, they're covered, pressed down, hidden, yet becoming something powerful beneath the surface. Roots are stretching. Strength is forming. Identity is solidifying. So don't curse the hidden season. She carries joy even in drought. She knows how to rejoice when everything around her says she should retreat. She can smile through storms, laugh through loss, and worship while she weeps. She looks drought in the face and still declares, "It is well with my soul." Because the joy she carries isn't circumstantial, it's spiritual. It's not created by comfort. It's rooted in her Christ. The prophet Habakkuk wrote, "Though the fig tree does not blossom, and there are no grapes on the vine, yet I will rejoice in the Lord." Habakkuk 3:17, joy isn't denial, it's defiance. It's a holy rebellion against despair. She is like the tree in Jeremiah 17:8, planted by rivers of living water, whose leaves stay green even in drought. While others wither, she worships. While others grieve without hope, she grieves with hope. She has learned to sing in barren places because her melody flows from a God who never changes. Her joy is her warfare. Her laughter is her weapon. Her praise is her proclamation that even in lack, her God is still enough. Think of the Proverbs 31 woman. She laughs without fear of the future. Not because life is perfect, but because her peace is rooted in a person, Christ, the rock and anchor of her soul. So I ask you, can you still sing when the answer hasn't come? Can you still bless him when the bills are due? Can you still dance when the diagnosis is devastating? That's the test. That's the seventh mark. When hell throws everything it has at her, and she still raises her hands and says, "Yet will I trust you." That's not weakness. That's warfare. When she praises in prison, like Paul and Silas, when she claps her hands in a hospital room, when she testifies through tears, she's marked. Because the enemy can handle sorrow, but he cannot handle joy. Joy is explosive. Joy is contagious. Joy announces that the devil failed to steal her source. And the chosen woman knows, if I still have breath, I still have reason to praise. These 7 hidden marks are not curses. They're not flaws. They are divine fingerprints. Heaven's proof that you've been chosen, refined, and set apart for glory. This is divine. Look at Ruth, gathering grain quietly in Boaz's field. No title, no tribe, no recognition. Yet her obedience in obscurity positioned her for legacy. Look at Joseph, forgotten in a prison cell, but remembered by God. Look at Moses, tending sheep in the desert, unaware that his quiet years were sacred training for leadership. The women God chooses are often anonymous before they are announced. Their depth grows long before their names are known. And when the time is right, when the roots are firm and the character is forged, God will reveal what he has refined. Single mothers raising children in silent strength. You're growing in the dark, woman working behind the scenes, pouring out without applause. You're growing in the dark. Daughters who pray when no one sees, serve when no one thanks, and sow when no one claps. You are heaven's hidden treasure. Don't chase the spotlight, seek the soil. That's where real growth happens, because God isn't building platforms. He's building pillars, and pillars are shaped under pressure. Woman of God, you may feel unseen, but heaven is watching. You may feel forgotten, but you're being forged. You may feel hidden, but you're being held. Keep growing. Keep praying. Keep sowing. Number 7, she carries unshakable joy in dry places. Me God, if you've endured the fire of the first 6 marks, and you're still standing, still pressing, still believing,